So, no, I just asked Doug. He's been with me for many years, and he records various things for me to document, hopefully sent to Oprah. You never know. But so thank you for allowing me to tape y'all and tape this today, just to document some of the things I get to do in the community, which I'm privileged to do. I've been around here practicing holistic medicine for about almost 15 years. I'm on staff at Jupiter Medical, so I get to go in there and do acupuncture and help people naturally when conventional medicine doesn't work or is not working as well as it can without my help. So nature has a lot of good things for us, and sometimes it's just figuring out how to put it all together in the right way. As Miss Edna said, thank you for having me. All of you, and I know you, every time I come, you're always so helpful. It's a great place. I've spoken to the kids here, and you know, it's, as Miss Edna said, it's really being part of a group, and I would say the group is larger than just my office. It's part of a community that's willing to listen and to help and to share. You know, so this morning what I want to do is just share a little bit about juicing, health, balance. I actually wrote a book called Health and Balance with a lady named Carol Maglio. God bless her. She is now a cancer survivor for over 7 years. She didn't have chemotherapy or radiation. She did have surgery, but she decided she wanted to do everything naturally. And after that, after going through the surgery, she's just been a juicing, healthy, balanced person. She has a little bit of her wine, she eats well, and she just lives life, tries to minimize stress and all those things. And in my medicine, which is holistic, I studied traditional Chinese medicine, which is basically Eastern. And everything in the East is, for centuries and millennia, has been about energy and balance and achieving health through that way. In the West, here, we're pretty young. Right? So it's only been around for a couple hundred years that people have been thinking, all right, I can take a pill for everything. But the East, the way of the older cultures, and that includes all of Asia, Africa, all of that, it was all about what can we eat to help ourselves? How do we, what kind of herb, what kind of vegetable, you know, when should we eat it? What's the best time of year? When is it in bloom? When is it ripest? When it, you know, so these sort of things were handed down for a long time, and then we got lazy and we started to want to, okay, which jar do we take? Which label do we, you know, what color pill do we take? Which one of these? And that changed a lot for us, and we're seeing now the repercussions. So I try to teach young and all ages, older, all, you know, from baby to all parts of life. Look, you know, food can be your medicine. Prevention is key, and we can do a lot to help ourselves on a daily basis. For many of us, blood pressure, diabetes, low energy, insomnia, anxiety, stress, skin issues, all sorts of things come about, and we just don't know how to apply. I'm going to share with you one basic juice today, which I call the Dr. Ken Super 6. Doesn't sound basic when you put the word super, but it does sound attractive. And it is basic. It's 6 ingredients, and probably which independently you all have used or eaten at different times. You just never thought about juicing them. So what we have is an example, and then we have a sample. So example to my right, sample to my left. Already, I didn't want to have to take the time to juice it for you, because that's a process which can be, I don't know, maybe a little bit boring. But I do it in the mornings or in the evenings before sleep. And the reasons why is I'm concerned with inflammation. I'm concerned with my immune system. I'm concerned with my blood pressure, cholesterol. You know, I'm 43 and I'm trying to live for many years quality life. I don't want many years not quality. I want many years quality, you know? And that's what we need to concern ourselves with, is while we are here, we want to live to the best of our ability. And I really believe in my heart that juicing helps with that. I believe in the quality of life that you do. Surround yourselves with good people, you know, which is why this community is so important. Why Miss Edna, you know, that's medicine, this laughter and this joy. And then, of course, education. So let's start with a little bit of ingredients. And before I start, can anyone have any questions or anything? Am I going too fast, too slow? Can you hear me in the back? Got my name, Dr. Ken?
I think some of you want to know some of the ingredients that he have. Maybe we can get already typed out for you and send home.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll write it down, and I can also how about I send you the ingredients? No?
Up the day, so I give that baby call me all night
Okay,
long.
all right,
Sorry about the kid, I know what I'm dealing with.
all right.
Can you give her the ingredients now so she can type it out?
Sure.
and have her print it?
All right, I'll go through them, and I'll give you one or two key reasons that these ingredients are here. How about that? Sound good? And then we'll go through it a little bit about preparation, and then some questions and answers.
I forgot to introduce, this is our new worker, Krista. So, Krista, we are famous.
Yeah. All right, Krista, thank you. So first we got here something very popular and common. Most everybody knows what this is, right? So I can't teach you about that other than what it does for you. So when we grow up, what do they say? Eat carrots, why? For your eyes. But they don't tell you why. So interestingly enough, carrots are very good for an organ. Put your hand right here on your right-hand side here. So your right-hand side, protected by your ribs, is your liver. Okay? Now, in our medicine, that liver has a lot to do with, it's like the general of the body. If you're going to have the body and look at it as a machine or a corporation or the military, or whatever, we say it keeps everything flowing. And that's blood and energy. So when that is not working as well, things stagnate. And where they stagnate first is in the hubs of the body. That's where things tend to get locked up, right? Joints are hubs of the body. So when the liver energy and blood flow stagnates, you get inflammation and you feel it in the joints. So the liver is not just good for the eyes. Healing the liver keeping the healthy liver is good for the joints and inflammation, right? So this actually does a few things. Not only does it nourish the liver and heal the liver, it helps alkalize your system. So a lot of what we've been taught to eat, a lot of what we kind of, I don't want to say taught, but what we've succumbed to eating, the easy foods, the processed foods, meat-rich diet rather than a green-rich diet, is all acidic. A lot of caffeine, sodas, sugar, red meat, that's acidic. We are human beings that are actually thrive in an alkaline environment. So if you look at pH, right, you look at a pool, for instance, take pool water. They put chlorine in it. Chlorine is acidic. Why? It kills things, kills organisms, right? So if we are acidic, we're actually killing ourselves slowly. Whereas when you have an alkaline environment, healthy rivers and streams, what do you got? Lush green environment. Alkaline environment, we're healthier, our tissue's healthier, our blood is richer. That's the idea between alkaline versus acidic. So you eat more green, more living, you tend to be more alkaline. Carrots. Heal the liver. Now, why the eyes? Opening of the liver is the eyes. Every organ has an opening. Kidneys open to the ears, so your hearing is actually attached to your kidneys. Your lungs, we already know where that opens to, the nose, breathing. Your spleen, pancreas, that opens to the mouth. So your ability to digest, taste, all of that is spleen. And they connect here. Spleen, pancreas connects with the liver, and so there is an issue there in terms of digestion and inflammation and energy. And carrots are also good for the pancreas. So carrots, inflammation. That's one of the biggest things. Alkalizing. Inflammation, alkalization. Kale. Nice green leafy vegetable. Also going to be alkalizing like we said. A lot of reasons to eat kale. Heals the body. Anti-cancer. So you want to fight certain cancers. Kale. You want rich iron blood. Kale. Some people take a lot of iron supplements. But iron by itself and not in its natural state is very hard on the system. So is another mineral that we like to take that's hard on the system called calcium. nature packages things for us with other vitamins and other bits of information that allows us to take it in and assimilate it and use it. If I just said to you, and I didn't put the rest of the words to that sentence, you wouldn't know what the heck I was talking about. That's the way the body is. This is information, right? It has different vitamins, minerals, and things to heal us, and it's packaged in such a beautiful way. Look at that. So if you strip it and you just say, okay, I'm going to take the calcium out and give you that, you're missing all the other things that help you take that calcium and turn it into bone. And some of those things are vitamin K, rich in vitamin K as well. So I would say if you have to supplement, you got to know the other parts of that information to take with it. Okay? So calcium and vitamin K, you got to do it. You can't just take calcium. Otherwise, what will happen is that calcium, that mineral will just stick in your blood, hang out in your soft tissue, and never even make it into bone. Vitamin K, calcium, iron, all in kale. So this is a great way. So people say, why don't you just eat it? Why you got to juice it? I say eat it. Please eat it. Eat it. Yeah. You can make kale chips. You can saute it with some olive oil, a little garlic. You can do all sorts of things. But I would say, though, if you have a chance and you want to get a little extra, juicing is a great way to supplement. And it's fun. It's a nice way to get in touch with your vegetables and get enough of it. Because if I say, okay, eat it, you might eat this once a month. That's not going to be enough. If you're juicing it, you're going to get all that extra vitamin K, calcium, stronger bones, stronger skin's going to look bright, you know? All these things. Nice pink lips, nice bright eyes, nice hair, whatever it is. And then these, though, is just a reflection of inside, right? We in a culture now where everybody wants to spend so much money fixing the outside, and the inside is not so healthy. But if your inside's healthy, outside's going to look pretty good, right? So if we get back to spending money on this, the rest is going to follow. Ginger, love ginger. It's a root. Look at that root. Very healthy. This nice healthy ginger. You know, I brought some of these tools. Usually you only need 2 tools. Knife, a peeler. I like this peeler. Some peelers go like this and you put, I like this one that's more vertical because, and then this knife is just one type of knife. You know, you can use all different types of knives. With the ginger, you might want to cut a piece off. You may not want to use this whole root, right, in your juice. But you cut a piece off, and then I use this peeler, and I peel that. Same way you would the carrot, you know, because the skin itself will give it a little bit different taste. Some people will just juice it with the skin on. That's fine. It's just going to be a little bit more, and the word is pungent. Ginger's taste is pungent, right? So it's a little spicy and all that. And that's good. You're still going to get the spice, but it changes a little bit with the skin. So I just peel it, but it's preference.
About how much?
You know what? I always say about a thumb. If you're making just like 2 glasses, one for yourself or what have you, thumb's worth. So obviously, if you like it more spicy, nothing wrong with more ginger. Believe me. Because this will help your immune system, will help your digestion. If you're dizzy, nausea, vertigo, indigestion, reflux, all you taking that reflux meds, you do ginger, you do it long enough, you will not need as much reflux meds, if any at all. Watch your diet, don't eat late. You know, there's a lot of other things that go along with that. I don't want to say ginger is a cure-all when it comes to reflux, but a lot of you are taking reflux meds which are not supposed to be an ongoing medication. If you look at it, it's supposed to be temporary. Why? Because you need acid to digest proteins. And those you taking reflux meds and you're still eating meat, that is not digesting properly and sitting in your intestines and starts to fester. When it festers, you create ulcers. Create ulcers, you have more likelihood for cancer. And then you get parts of your colon taken out. So watch the reflux meds. They won't tell you that, but I'm telling you that. Okay? Don't eat so late. Watch the acid foods. Not so much coffee. more water, carrot juice before bed, you won't have that burning sensation. And one of the biggest culprits is the high carb diet. Eating a lot of bread and pasta and flour before and late at night, that sits there and that festers and it prevents, and then you drink milk and that sits there and that festers and all that, and that gut just, reflux, okay?
Anybody agree with that?
Yeah.
There's a reason for it, and then you just take that pill and you keep taking that pill, and then you destroy your gut, and then you have no energy, and then you have more acid, they give you a stronger pill, and next thing you know, why I have polyps, why I have ulcers, why I gotta get part of my colon taken out. Now you know why, okay? Ginger, very good, and it's a mediator. It's a great mediator. It takes all these things and it helps you to pull all the good stuff out and get it to where it needs to go. So that's what we call a mediator. It helps everything work together. So whenever you eat something, you feel a little indigestion too, like you feel nauseous, ginger root tea. You can take it, and like we said, instead of juicing it, just peel it and grate it. Yes, right? A little honey, hot water, good to go. Feels so much better. You're welcome. Yeah. So instead of taking Pepto-Bismol or all this stuff, ginger root tea. It will heat you up. If you feel cold, it will heat you up. If you're getting a sore throat, it will help you, the sore throat and the cold. This is a magical, magical root. If you can grow it, grow it. Protect the ginger. Ginger. So ginger is also, they use it for inflammation too. A lot of the same reasons. The gut's working well, you won't inflame. The liver's happier, the spleen's happier, you won't inflame. A lot of inflammation and pain in the body starts in the gut. Okay? Ginger, the great mediator. Let's talk about lemon. Also too, by the way, carrots, and we'll get to beets in a little bit, but one thing about those two, great for blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure and you're juicing regularly with those, even throw some celery in there, which we don't have today. Celery is known for lowering blood pressure naturally. Okay?
You said carrots and.
Carrots, beets, which we'll get to in a little bit, and celery.
And Chris is writing that down for you, so you
Yeah.
have it.
Those are the three for lowering blood pressure. You get those three, and even throw some ginger in there. I throw ginger in all my juices. You will see. You take your, if you have high blood pressure and you drink that juice and you take some water also, because I like water. Water helps with the kidneys and all that. And you take your blood pressure again, you will notice it will be lower.
Do you lose any nutrition when you juice?
No, but what people are concerned about is the fiber. So people say, well, don't you need fiber? Why all the doctors want to take fiber? I take Metamucil, fiber, 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 fiber. I'm not saying not to eat it. I'm saying that juicing helps because that's just focusing on the nutrients. That's giving your digestion a rest in a way and getting more of the nutrients directly more to your bloodstream. When you put the fiber in there, it's more workload on the digestion. It's harder on you.
The leafy part
Yeah,
on the carrots
yeah,
and beets,
yeah.
are they also juiced?
You can. These, if you're gonna do it, you gotta wash them good and they gotta be organic. So, because the leaf, you don't have any protection. You can peel the carrots and the beets if they're not organic, right? You take off some of those pesticides and things. With the leaves, they're on there. It's gonna be hard to get them off. So you gotta watch that. So I would say organic or some of your local, there's an Alice's Farm, I think, locally here. There's some Kai Kai Farm up north. There's a few local farms that sometimes, some parts of the season, they will grow these things. And that, I would say, definitely, everything can juice it. A lot of nutrients in there. You just gotta watch the sourcing of it. Because you can be getting some toxins with your good stuff, and that's gonna counteract, right? So a lot of these things, you can still get the good nutrients without too much of the toxins and pesticides by peeling it. When you got the leaves at the top, a lot of that's been sprayed. So you just gotta watch that. So, yes.
Would you get the same effect if you make smoothies out of all of that?
Again, now you can have fiber, right? And with that fiber, it's a more of a workload in digestion, and some of you will have problems. And so I don't do it. I don't do too many smoothies. If I'm gonna eat, I eat, because that involves chewing. When When you have a smoothie and you drink it, all that fiber gets dumped in the gut, you haven't chewed it, it's a lot of workload. It's going to make the digestion uncomfortable. It's going to be harder. When you take the fiber out, and you can use that fiber to make, you can bake with it if you want, right? So you don't have to waste it. If you're concerned about wasting it, there's a couple of things. You can bake with it, make some muffins or what have you. We use that fiber, very healthy, but at least you have the chewing. That's part, whenever you have fiber and all that, you got to chew. So taking a lot of Metamucil and all that, they use it as a binding agent. That's what they're saying. That's why they say take a lot of fiber, because the body uses it to bind things so that it can push through the intestines. So it is healthy, but when you're doing a lot of it, if you're going to do regular smoothies and you got that fiber, now it's not healthy. It's too much. Because you're bypassing the enzymatic process of chewing. And enzymes help us break down proteins and so forth and so on. And a lot of that starts in the mouth. So if you're just going to drink, juicing is what I prefer. That's why it exists. Yes?
Being a diabetic, how do you keep your level going with that?
Very good. So being a diabetic, there's a couple ways to think about this. One, these are more important sugars. So if you're going to eat bread, and you're going to eat pasta, and you're going to eat those other things, maybe minimize that and dedicate your insulin portion and your sugars to this. So that's one way. Otherwise, say, you know what, I want a juice, but I'm going to do more greens without sugar. There's a lot of good things to do. You can juice your fennel. You can juice your lemon, ginger. You can juice spinach, kale. You can do lime and all of that. And you can add a little bit of something for some sweetness, like pineapple, which is anti-inflammatory. So there's ways to maneuver. You just have to get used to it. I can do a full green juice and not make a face, but that's me. Some people need sweet. I don't need sweet. If you think past and think what it's doing for you, you're going to be fine. And you can make it sour without adding sugar. So if you like more sour, you do the lime and the lemon, celery, parsley, all those greens you can do. Or you can make it spicy by putting some little arugula and watercress, right? And all those have huge healing benefits and will heal your pancreas most of the time.
Juicing the greens is not going to run your levels.
When it has more sugar, so if you're going to do a high level of beet and carrot and apple and things like that, yeah, it's going to spike your sugar. It's going to spike it up.
But
Yeah.
you're just doing greens.
More greens is not going to spike it because you don't have too much sugar.
Okay.
And in some cases, depending on where you are in the diabetic nature and the pancreatic health and so forth, type 1, type 2, you might even notice that it brings the sugars down, right? So again, worth investigating, worth reading about, worth searching. Juices for diabetics. Search it. You're going to find a lot of, but you're going to be reminded of what I said here today. Watercress, great. Parsley, tremendous. Celery, spinach, kale, lime, lemon. And then maybe a little bit of pineapple for a little bit of sweetness, but for that bromelain, which is good for digestion and joints. We're dwindling down last 3. So lemon alkalizes the body. It's a citric acid. People think, oh, but it's acidic. But no, in the body it alkalizes the system. Also good for if you don't want to lower or raise your blood pressure, but just be in the middle. Some people will say if you got low blood pressure, eat some chips. No. Put some lemon in your water. This will even it out. Okay? That's not a healthy way to regulate your blood pressure by eating chips. A little bit of lemon in your water regularly will alkalize it. It's good for preventing it's antioxidants, all sorts of things. I mean, lemon is great. Apple, detox. Helps pull toxins out of the body. For some of you on medication, that is a constant concern. So while there can be good from medication, over time, it is hard on your system. You accumulate toxins. Those chemicals put a load on the liver, kidneys, pancreas, heart, lungs. You need a constant way of detoxing, helping your body to get rid of some of these heavy chemicals that are sitting in the cells, in the tissue. They're constantly getting put in. There's residue. This natural apple is a very nice way to detox. Yes. It can help, yeah. It can help, very good. We've been taught that. And also eating it. And one of those reasons why is the fiber. It's a healthy fiber, it's got pectin, it's got a lot of things which can pull toxins out of the intestines. So as it's going through, it's kind of cleaning, right? And we need that. So that's why juicing is good for detox, but also eating is good for detox.
You don't peel the apple, right?
When I juice it, I buy organic. That's key again. So organic is different than non-GMO. So those are two terms you do need to know these days. Organic just means that at least if they're using pesticides, it's more natural. Not as harmful for you. Non-GMO means non-genetically modified. That means the seeds are fairly natural and have been heirloom or haven't been genetically modified to resist certain bugs or look a certain way or have longer shelf life. Because that's a reality for food going forward. There are big companies that genetically modify foods for certain reasons, but we just don't know its effects on how it's going to affect humanity yet. So some people like to avoid it. But organic and non-GMO, two different things. You can have both together, but most of the time you don't. Almost all supermarkets and everything, that's why when you taste a tomato, you go, this don't taste like a tomato. It's genetically modified. It looks like a tomato. They grew it like a tomato, but it doesn't have all the elements of a tomato because it's not natural. You still have to go to the country or go to a natural farmer and you'll eat a tomato and it tastes like a fruit. It tastes sweet and delicious, it smells good, but it's hard to find and you have to pay a little bit more now. But for me, it's worth it. You know, maybe not every day, but most days. So apple, detox. Beets, another root. So if you notice, we have a nice blend. Things that grow below the ground, things that grow above the ground. So we got roots, ginger root, carrots, beets growing below. You got kale. You've got, this grows on trees. Apples growing on trees. It's growing just above the ground. You know, so nice blending of ways to get nutrients. And usually things that grow below the ground have a lot of nutrients. Very blood enriching. Beets, you have weak blood, you eat more beets. It will help you make more hemoglobin. You have low blood hemoglobin. Yes, very good. Low blood, beets. And these I like to peel. Some people don't peel them, they wash them. I peel them, I use the peeler, right? Cut the top off. But these also, these leaves, like the gentleman said here, very nice. The other thing is it's also detoxing, also good for blood pressure. So much good with beets. You know, for females, it does help with hormones. You know, there's a hormone balancing to beets. They even sell beets in capsule form for females that feel their hormones are off. So there is a benefit to the liver, healing of the liver, but the liver is also a hormone site. Most of your hormone activity, most of your cholesterol activity is in the liver. And that's one thing too, it's important to know. A lot of you may, or some of you might be on cholesterol meds. Cholesterol meds these days, statins are very strong. If you're not on them and you can avoid it, I would say avoid it. If you can lessen it, it would be good, but you got to know how. You got to know what adds to cholesterol will be acidic foods. What adds to cholesterol will be carbs, more than fatty. Most people think, oh, I got to lower the meat. But carbs, pastas and breads will make your cholesterol higher. And caffeine, a lot of coffee. So if you can avoid the statins, the reason why is because those statins and those drugs dry out the liver. Your body creates cholesterol because it needs it. Cholesterol is what goes into creating your marrow, which is inside your bone, which is your brain. Your brain is a sea of marrow. It's the same material it's a cholesterol-rich material. So as you start to take those statins, and those cholesterol meds that they want you to take, if you don't want to do anything else, and you're just doing that, you have to understand you're drying out from the inside. And so all this Alzheimer's and all these mental issues and these brain situations and the bone pain, you have to understand there's a reason for that increase. More people on statins, more brain issues, more Alzheimer's. Okay? So try to think, you know, what I put my mom on? Hawthorn berry. Hawthorn berry has been used for ages. It grows on a hawthorn tree. They used to put it in brandy and wait for 30 days with these hawthorn berries and brandy for weak hearts. Hawthorn berry you can buy in capsules, you can buy the tea. It will clean the arteries, it will strengthen the heart, and it will lower your cholesterol.
Put that down first.
Hawthorn berry. Well, you can do it if you want to make hawthorn berry brandy. It's a real thing. You can look it up. It's been used for many years. You know, not now. Yeah, you take a little bit. Because brandies, you have to think. Even to this day, we use alcohol as a way to administer medicine. It's always been that way because it's a medium to get those healing benefits out. Even you cook with it, right? You cook with alcohol to pull things out. So it's not that I'm saying go get drunk off of some brandy. I'm saying, the brandy is used as a medium, as a constituent to pull these nutrients and these healing benefits out of these herbs so that your body can take it in easier. That's why. Like making soup too. You know, that's why we make soup when we're sick, right? You're boiling. You're getting all these vitamins out into that soup. So when you're weak, you just drink that soup. You don't have your body can take it in directly. Same like juicing. Same thing.
Hawthorn berry, what is that?
Hawthorn? It's from the hawthorn berry. It's from the hawthorn tree. It's a berry that grows. It's not sweet, and you can get it.
Where can they get it?
Oh, so in our area, Indian Town, you have Nutrition Wise over by TJ Maxx and all of that. You got PGA, you got Nutrition World. North Lake, you got Nutrition Smart. Up in Stewart, you got Peggy's. Online, you got Amazon. You know,
Health food store,
health food store. Okay.
Kale has a lot of K.
Vitamin K, yes.
You can't take too much vitamin K.
Well,
What do you use to counteract?
well, in nature's packaging,
Vitamin K can thin out your blood.
sure, but
So
it.
what do you take to counteract it?
Well, okay, when you juice like this and you juice kale, you don't have to do it all the time. When you do it once in a while, again, it has other things to balance it out. It's not just K.
Right, what do you use to balance it out?
I think nature uses calcium to balance it out. And other things. Vitamin A. I think those together is good. You know? And the body can decide how much of it needs versus how much waste and so forth and so on. When you just take it as a supplement, it's different. Then you've really got to sort of manage, okay, how much, you know, how is it working? If I'm on a blood thinner, if this and that and the other thing. That's a different story. And that's when you sit down with a functional medicine doctor or you sit down with someone and you really kind of go through the product. But if you're eating it naturally, usually you won't get too much. If you get too much, your body will tell you through indigest, you know, whatever, it's going to tell you, you know. That's the nice thing about eating or teas or natural whole foods versus supplements. I say both is good, but with the supplements you have to be careful. Yeah.
Yes, what, the vitamin E, what's so important?
Vitamin E also can thin blood, but it is also good for hormone production. It's a good antioxidant. It's good energy. It does a lot of good things. It's a good catalyst. It's a good mediator. So I like vitamin E, but I like vitamin E getting it through my nuts, like almonds. Okay. So almond milk, if you notice, you'll get 50% of your daily vitamin E in there. You can get, did someone say too sweet? Or, okay, yeah, you can get the original.
Get the original?
Yeah, no sugar. It's just straight almond. Yeah. The one that's sweet is the vanilla, you know. Yeah. So if you look in Publix or in your local, even when Dixie or whatever is local to you, you'll see there's a lot more nut milks. There's almond, macadamia, walnut, it's a lot more nut milks now available. Now, I would still say it's good to have a little goat milk or something like that. Why? Because you get the proper D versus calcium. I say goat milk over cow milk because number one, goat milk tastes the way cow milk used to taste. Goat milk has enzymes in it that makes it easier for digestion for humans. Cows generally are not fed. I mean, you can get grass fed, but it's just you have to really make sure the source is good. Because a lot of the cow milk is because the cows are fed corn, they don't have that enzymatic process. The milk doesn't have the nutrients that it used to have. Then they have to enrich it and do all these other things to it. So you don't want that kind of milk. You want the good, I would say goat milk, which they can't tamper with, or grass-fed cow milk once in a while is going to give you proper vitamin D and calcium. Yeah.
So, I know juicing is good.
Yes.
So does cooking take away from the nutrients when you cook these?
Okay, so the question is, juicing is good, however, does cooking take away from the nutrients? How you cook it matters. How you cook it matters. So you saute a little kale with a little olive oil, that, some of these fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and things that sort of work better with fat will bind with the oil, and then, eating it, you'll still get a lot in there. If you want to make mush, then generally it's going to be a problem. If you're going to boil the beets until, if you drink the whole thing, it's different. But if you boil, and then they're mushy, yeah, you're going to lose some. So how you make it, you can bake the beets. It's going to be better than, say, boiling, for instance. Just like baked potatoes, baked yam, better than, say, boiling it.
What about pickle? Pickle.
Pickles? Well, pickles or pickling, pickled beets. I think it's pretty good because then you have fermentation, and fermentation can make healthy bacteria and probiotics. So pickling is a way for many centuries, thousands of years, that humans were able to keep the flora in their guts healthy by fermentation. Every culture has it. Koreans have kimchi, you have sauerkraut, for the Polish and the Germans and so forth. And pickling, we make chow chow in the Caribbean. All these things are ways to make healthy bacteria for the flora. And so that's where the probiotics comes in. Good bacteria makes for healthy hearts, healthy bacteria that keeps the bad bacteria away in the intestines and in the arteries and all these things. They're attributing not having enough good bacteria to all the increased heart attacks. So people just think about fats and things like that. No, healthy bacteria, probiotics, actually is one of the reasons why, because most of the food that we're eating is processed so much that all that healthy bacteria, all these so-called organics, some of them not being grown in earth, they don't get that bacteria. Your gut is depleted, so you're getting all the bad bacteria. Then you take antibiotics, which kill more bacteria, and that just makes it hard for your heart to survive. So that's where the increased heart attacks, because now we're having heart attacks in our 40s more often. 40s and 50s, we're seeing a lot more.
Shadow part two, we have a question.
Wait, we have one here, and then we'll
I
go.
want shadow part two, did you get the
Part-
other question? Asked Mary?
You got all of it? Okay. Yeah?
Since you were talking about the cows.
Yeah.
So I want to know, I'm hearing that beef takes longer to digest and your system's not good for it. So I just want to know about that.
Yeah, too much red meat is not going to be good. It's a very dense, rich meat. And again, grass-fed is going to be better for you than, say, regular beef. So if you're going to do it, buy good, buy grass-fed, because that's the way it was always supposed to be. Cows were always supposed to eat grass, but then because, it was cheaper to grow corn and feed them soy and animal byproducts and all sorts of things you don't want to know, it's just cheaper. It fattened them up, and they created the meat, but the meat itself, content-wise, is bad for humans. So grass-fed is better for you. It will take longer to chew it. You'll notice the fibers, anything that's grass-fed, even if we ate more grass, our fibers to our muscles will be healthier, stronger. So not so much, but if you're going to do it, grass-fed is preferred.
Okay, Gloria, the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, if I juice
Yeah.
and use the container about the size of that.
Yeah.
How long is that juice good for?
Well, I would say a day is really good.
So you need to just stay.
Don't do too much because you're not preserving it. So a day is good. Let's pour some, and then we'll answer more questions as we're pouring.
There's a question over there.
Yeah, let's pour some and we'll answer more questions as we're pouring. Yes,
This papaya,
papaya. Yep.
is that good for cancer patients?
Yes, papaya is good for everybody, mainly because it has an enzyme called papain, and that will get rid of stray proteins and help keep your intestines clean and help your immune system by that measure. So anytime you accumulate toxins, it puts a strain on your immune system. And cancer is directly related to a poor immune system. Right? So we want healthier cells. We want to detox the system. So enzymes, natural papaya, bromelain, all those things help us to do that. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it has helped the system. Remember, cancers is directly related to a faulty immune system, right? Cells that have gone astray. And so when you can give less load to the immune system, you make your body stronger and able to fight the cancer cells. Okay.
So how often you say drink it, once or twice a day?
I think if you can do once a day or once a few days a week, it's something. And around here, what we've seen now is there's a growth in juice bars. So if you don't have the time, like me sometimes, I've got to do drop-offs for the kids and so forth and so on. There's some juice bars. I go to Modern Juice. They actually carry my juice called Dr. Ken's Super 6. Right? So you can go there. That's on Indian Town. And that's over by Fresh Market next to Starbucks. You can go in there and order a Dr. Ken's. It's about $9, which, you can weigh it out. It's a little bit expensive versus, but if you go get a Danish and a coffee, it's about the same thing. So it's all a choice, right? It's moving around those funds. Maybe Danish coffee tomorrow, maybe Dr. Ken's juice today. That's life.
So how much do you drink? 8 ounces?
It's going to be a 8 ounce. Yeah, 8 ounce or more. It's going to be more of it than 8
Is
ounces.
it considered a meal?
No, it would not be a meal supplement. I mean, it would not be a meal substitution. It would just be a meal supplement. So for me, I would drink that, and then I would get some protein from, you can do some warm cereals. Oatmeal is great for cholesterol, great for your sugars. You do a little oatmeal in the morning, do your juice. You'll have energy for many hours. Wait. I love a shot of wheatgrass, and I like to get it there. They have wheatgrass, and they'll do ginger. They call it wasabi shot because of spice. So a little ginger and a little wheatgrass. Wasabi, like wasabi that you put on sushi, the greens, because it's pungent and spicy. Well, when you add the ginger to the wheatgrass with the sweet, you get a little bit, it almost tastes like wasabi. That's why they call it wasabi.
Do you also do Rejuvelat?
Huh?
Do you do Rejuvelat?
Rejuvelac, what's that?
Is the juice for the good antibiotics?
I don't know it. It sounds like a brand
You
of.
make it out, no, you make it out, you have the seed, you go to the, what's the name of it? A seed store,
Uh-huh.
and you buy the seeds, and you have to let the seeds sit.
Chia?
Seed,
Yeah, but is a seed is chia? No?
it's not a chia. You
Chia?
can also use, what was that you call it?
You'll have to tell me about that because I'm not familiar with that.
You're not familiar with
No, Rejuvelac?
Rejuvelat.
Huh.
It's good for the inside out.
Okay, good to know. I wonder what the seed is called though. Like,
I
what-
have all, I can go.
good. Let me know. Yes. Yeah.
For those of you that doesn't taste good to you because your body
Yeah.
is used to that old nasty food.
Yeah. Yeah, so the question was, I don't know if you heard in the back, for breakfast she likes to eat oatmeal with fresh fruit.
Excuse us, hold on, wait, I'm sorry, Dr. Ken, please, they can't hear me because you have a good talk.
Okay, so fresh fruit, pecan, nuts. Yeah, I think that's great. It's a nice blend of fiber. I snack on nuts throughout the day because it's a good source of protein and energy. Walnuts especially is good for the brain, good for the kidneys, warms the body. Almonds warm the body as well, so if you feel you're cold sometimes, you eat little walnuts, you'll find some warmth from that.
Even though like I used to take the laxative,
Yeah.
when I eat that, I don't have to take it.
Right, no, you won't have to because you got the fruit, you got the fiber, very nice, and the oatmeal is a nice lubrication. You know, if you notice it's got a little bit of lubrication to it, that helps the intestines.
My mother, when I was growing up,
Yeah.
and she used to fix oatmeal for me.
Yeah, oatmeal, yeah, yeah,
That
Yeah.
was a no-no to me.
yeah, no, you have to eat
But
it.
since I became an adult,
Yeah,
and I started to eat oatmeal,
yeah,
and I would mix my walnuts, pecans,
yep.
and, what was the cranberry?
Yeah, cranberries, yep, yep. So no, I'm all about oatmeal and also grits. Grits are very good in the morning. Good for the kidneys, good for energy, good for stamina, very good. And it doesn't have the sugar, so if you have an issue with gluten,
Everybody talking and we can't hear
yeah,
him.
yeah, if y'all have an issue with gluten, some people have celiac, they can't digest gluten or wheat. Grits generally is okay because it's corn husk.
So with me doing that, I don't have to take the laxative.
Right.
Because the laxative wasn't
Right.
doing too
Exactly.
good for me. And
No.
then a lot of the time the laxative
Right.
will blow you up.
It will, and it will deplete you. It'll pull water out of your system, which is not good for you. Dehydrate and feel very tired and a lot of fatigue. We had a gentleman over here.
Yes, I had a question. If I go to the store and purchase one of these, do I get a senior citizens discount?
You know what? I would ask them. That's something that I think if they have more people coming in and ask for that, they will probably do it. Yeah,
I used to do it,
Yeah.
and after about a week,
yeah,
I have a problem with cleaning this thing
yeah.
every time I use it.
There's
Once
techniques.
a day,
Yeah,
and now you're cleaning.
yeah. There's techniques. I usually put a nice plastic bag in the catcher. So that's one thing you don't have to clean. So you put like a Publix bag or grocery bag, whatever, and you put that in the catcher, and that's one thing you don't have to clean. The other thing is, and then I just have whenever I have the vegetables in that bowl, I put water in there and I put all the pieces in there and then scrub it in there. Sometimes I throw it in the dishwasher, or that's about it. Just scrub it in there and then put it on the rack. So it really just is a technique of how you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Yes.
You said if you eat, I mean, it's okay to eat when I'm a diabetic.
Yeah.
They say white, don't eat, like, potatoes.
Uh-huh.
Rice.
Uh-huh. Grits is going to be a little bit better.
Question over there that you can hear that'd be good.
Yeah, so this question's regarding diabetics and eating white, like potatoes, rice, so forth and so on, and whether grits fall into that. You know, in the morning, grits is actually, it's going to be lower on the glycemic index, which is nice. And it's also in the morning, it's a good time to get those nutrients. And it's a good source of protein. And anytime you have good source of protein, you don't have that sugar spike as much. So that's it. And it's corn based.
So grits are good, you say?
It's better than say wheat. Wheat's more sugar. Some wheat, some flour like millet or spelt, these older grains, which are a little bit harder to get a hold of, for some, will be not so hard on you either. But again, it's really a preference. The other thing too, for those of you that agave is a good sweetener. It's lower on the glycemic index. So I'd like to see more people using that, for instance, rather than the agave, A-G-A-V-E. So that as a sweetener, instead, if you don't want to use honey or sugar, is going to be better for you than, say, your fake sugars. Whenever you get into aspartame and all these fake sugars, it's really horrible for you. It's bad for your digestion, it's bad for your pancreas. And one day I'm sure they're going to say, finally, okay, now we know why there's more pancreatic cancer. More use of the diet sugars, gotta be a problem. I'm not saying that's all the reason, but not healthy for you to be eating these fake sugars in substitute. Yes.
Okay, being the diabetic, you're taking insulin.
Yeah.
How do you work with that? Insulin too much is not good.
Yeah, I mean,
You need it.
yeah. I honestly, if you're taking insulin, it's outside of my scope to say, don't take insulin. I'm not here to tell you on that level what to do or not to do. I can only tell you how to benefit your bodies, and hopefully one day maybe your sugar balance is enough that you can lower. But that would be something you would talk to and say, Doc, you know, I'm testing my sugars constantly being lower. Can we lower the insulin? That's something you talk to your MD about.
But back in the day, I'm sure people had diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't into insulin. What were they eating or whatever?
Right, there's foods for that, and a lot of those foods are in the family of pumpkin and squash and all of those sort of things. There's a lot of studies that the American Indians that were here before we were here, they didn't have diabetes, they didn't have all these liver issues, pancreatic issues, and one of their diet was rich in squash and pumpkin and all those things that grew naturally here. When they stopped eating that, started eating the white man's grain, so to speak, or you know, whatever it was, more high carbs, alcohol, and meat-rich diets. Now their you know, diabetes levels just went skyrocketed as far as a community. Yeah. So I would say, you know, for me, pumpkin, squash, those areas, you know, bake some squash, you know, enrich your pancreas. Very good. Ginger, you know, a lot of these sort of things. Once in a while you do your carrots and so forth. They will help that gland, that organ to be healthier and hopefully manage what its job is better. So that's one way of looking at it. So insulin just is, you know, it's dealing with the problem here, but if you go to the root, right, you're looking at the branch, sometimes if we catch the root in time, we can fix the whole plant. That's really what this is about. If the root is really destroyed, it's going to be harder. Yeah.
I suffer from allergies.
Yeah.
And like no shell food I can eat, like
Yeah.
oysters, shrimp,
Right.
lobster, nothing.
Yeah,
I can eat.
right.
What can I get anything to help me?
I mean, at some point, you know, the processing of certain things, if we do too much of it, or congenitally speaking, maybe our parents did, or so forth. So maybe it started when you were young. I don't know the history. But sometimes if you detox the body, you start fresh, your body doesn't hyper respond to certain things. And there's elements in those things why it's responding that way. So I've had patients come and over time they detox, get treatment, and then they can eat shrimp once in a while without a hyperactivity if that's their goal. You know, sometimes for some people it's just being able to have some normalcy to life. But if you have an allergic reaction to that whole family, then it's pretty far. It will take a while.
Unless the word, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the only one like that.
yeah, it would take a while, but you could possibly, if that's your goal, you detox, get your system right, you know, and then it won't hyper respond to that particular family. Do you have a question, Doug?
You were mentioning the squashes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was saying I've added a lot of squashes to my carrot-based
Yeah,
juices.
yeah.
As your recommendation.
Yeah,
You can blend them right in and you don't even
Yeah.
taste it.
yeah. And it helps because it kind of tastes like melon almost, some of the squashes. Obviously the pumpkin, the more denser ones, not so much. You might want to just bake those and eat them. You know, put a little cinnamon, which is another good, you know, for sugar. Cinnamon is great for sugar, balancing sugar levels. You can take Ceylon cinnamon as a supplement, by the way. Ceylon is a type of cinnamon. Ceylon, C-E-Y-L-O-N, type of cinnamon, good for balancing blood sugar. Yeah. Yes.
For those of us who have a sweet tooth, tell me what the research is on stevia.
Okay, so those of you that have a sweet tooth, what is the research on stevia? Stevia is a sweetener, and also for some people it may help curb that, you know, that sweet tooth. I like to actually prescribe licorice root. Licorice root, while it spikes the blood pressure a little bit, it will take away that sweet tooth. So licorice root, not Twizzlers, but actual real licorice root, right? It's used to stave off that sweet tooth. And they used to make gum made of licorice root. I don't think you can find that anymore, but that you would chew it and then you don't crave sugars anymore. So that's one way. But stevia is not bad. Some people don't do well with it though, right? I don't like stevia. It makes me, I don't like it. But I don't have an issue with diabetes either because I just, you know, try to manage things. Yeah.
What's good for those that suffer with headaches?
Headaches, oh, there's so many things. Depends on where the headache is. Sometimes it's sinus, sometimes it's temple. Sinus is going to be more congestion and starting the gut. Temples is going to be more liver, gallbladder related, stress related. So that's another discussion. But I would say teas. Teas are great. Nettle leaf tea, N-E-T-T-L-E, is a good way to calm the liver. Dandelion tea is a good way to detox the liver. So those are generally going to be good for random headaches. There's homeopathics out there you can look into. There is also exercise, going for walks, you know, but generally teas and peppermint can calm the system. Yeah, exercise is good though. A lot of times headaches can be just poor circulation, poor movement, you know. So touching your toes, upper body movements, gentle stuff in the morning. You know, you get that blood flowing that's stagnant here, and I think it will be helpful. But teas, tea breaks, herbal teas though, not black tea. Herbal teas, ginger root, nettle leaf, peppermint, dandelion, those are all great teas. Yeah.
When you juice, do you add water to it?
No,
So all that will make the juice?
that's all just, that, these are in there. That's it.
So that will make the mix, all that will make
That's
the
it. Very rich nutrients. That's all fruit and vegetable plasma, you know. that's all that. Yeah. Carrots will make the bulk. Carrots and beets will make a lot of juice because they're very dense. So will apples and lemons.
Is that from the store or did you make that?
That is from this is the place that I told you about, Modern Juice. They made that for me. This is so what you're tasting there will be similar to what you would taste if you went in there and purchased it.
Can you hold it up so we can see it?
Yeah, sure. So this is what you got today. Modern Juice. This is what you got.
Next on Indian Town.
Indian Town Road, right by Fresh Market, Boston Market.
Boston Market got there, didn't know that.
Okay, Boston Market.
Okay, hold on, wait. You know where Boston Market is, by the bridge? I'll talk with you later, Aldous, okay?
Yeah.
But everybody know where Boston Market is, it's right, as you go east, yeah, it's a market right there. It's in that
Yeah,
plaza.
it'll be a cup this big. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What here in Jupiter?
What's the name of the place?
It's called Modern Juice. Juice.
Juice.
Modern, M-O-D-E-R-N, and then Juice. Yep. So right next to Starbucks there too, there's a coffee, there's all that. So there's that place. Yes.
I know probably to get the optimal benefits from juicing, is to drink it right away.
Yeah.
But how long would you recommend we can keep juice? How many days before it loses?
I think it's a combination of losing nutrients and enzymes versus safety. Because if it's not pasteurized, you're also going to be starting to make some unhealthy bacteria, right? So you got to be careful. So I would say 2 to 3 probably max on that. They have containers that you could buy. If you get serious about this, there are stores you can go to and buy the containers, or even online, which you can pull the air out, which will keep it longer, right? It helps you take the air out, you know, so you keep it longer.
Would you recommend freezing?
Nah, not really. Yeah, I mean, because once you freeze it, you change everything. It's just, yeah. Don't make a lot. Just, you know.
She had her head up all night, ready to
Oh, come on. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm ready. You ready for me? Yeah, chia seeds are very good for you. Have a good source of healthy fats, omega 3, 6, and 3, 6, 9. So the reason for that is that those are the essential fatty acids goes into your nervous system and building the building blocks of the nervous system, so your brain and your nerves. So a lot of people, if they have issues with nerves, sometimes brain health, all those things, I always recommend essential fatty acids. Chia seeds are also good for healthy protein. A good anti-inflammatory, so good for joints. So chia seeds, flax seeds, avocado have healthy fats in it. There's a lot of natural healthy fats around there. Obviously, we hear about fish oils having omegas, good for the brain, good for the eyes, all the things that go into building all of that. You know, so you definitely want that.
That's why old people don't know how to use their cell phone.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say health, and you can have chia seeds added to your juice at Modern Juice, or you can add it to your juice at home. There are a lot of the juicing places that do that. They'll add chia seeds for you. They'll add cayenne pepper for you. I get cayenne in my juice for circulation, heart health, right? So there's a lot of good things you can do like that. And as you get on with it, you'll try some different things, and you just notice, I feel better. You know, you'll say, I feel a little bit better for this. I feel a little bit better by doing that. And that's what it's about. You don't have to go out today and do everything and then get tired of it and go back to the same old, same old. Just a little bit at a time, and you should do well. And you have your days which you feel like I need a little bit extra, and you'll know what that extra needs to be, right? And you have days you say, I don't want to do that, I'm good, and then you're good. But, you know, the key is knowing how to help yourselves. If you choose not to, that's fine. But once you know, now it's your choice. Okay? Yeah, we got one back there.
How often do you have to drink this? How many?
Again, that's your preference. You know, I have a rigorous work schedule. I interact with people. I don't drink caffeine. I work out. I have kids. I have a wife. I have business. I have a mom, sister. You know, I do it daily during the week. On the weekends, maybe not so much. You know, or maybe on Saturday, but maybe not.
How many
Maybe
ounces drink like this?
it's, a glass, normal glass. Whatever you make, whatever comes out of what you got. There's no exact, right? We can have seconds today. We got more here. For today, you're going to be set. Let's get some seconds. Let's keep it coming. Let's finish it up. At least today you're set. All right, we got...
Just keep it coming, we'll come around.
Yeah? All right, so I'm losing track. We got one lady back there, which I have not spoken to yet, all the way back there.
Weight gain. What can you add to this, or can you just drink it and attain more weight?
All right, if you're trying to gain weight, then you would add probably some protein. And I usually use green protein if I'm going to add protein. So green-based protein is going to be your hemp, brown rice, green pea. Most green proteins powders will have all three of those in there. Those are healthy proteins. I would not do whey, which will mess up your gut over the long term. And I would not do soy. Some of you have concerns with estrogen-based foods. Soy is rich in estrogen, and it will also mess up your gut in the long term. I will do green-based proteins. And that will add to the calories, and that will then help you to gain some weight. If you want to lose weight, don't add the protein, but add things like the cayenne and things like that, which will run you hotter and and make your metabolism burn faster.
But don't you need so much protein a day,
You do.
according to your body weight?
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a supplement for protein. Yeah, this is just a supplement for nutrients. But I would say continue to eat your protein as you eat it, whether it's fish or however you get it, beans, legumes, those sort of things. Yeah.
What about Raisin Bran? How is that? Raisin Bran,
It's a basic cereal. It's an option, and there's some good to it. I like raisins, and I like bran. Good?
I'm a person, as of a coffee lover.
Yeah.
What do you think about coffee?
I think it's very hard on the adrenals. Caffeine in general burns out the adrenals. Your adrenals are two glands that sit on top of your kidneys. It's your essence. So as you get older, we need those to be full, not depleted. It helps with your good healthy adrenals, good healthy kidneys, help with your short-term memory, help with your energy overall, help with your breathing, because your kidneys power your breath, powers your body's immune system, and just as general helps your youth. So if you're constantly depleting it by stimulating, that's what caffeine does, it's depleting you, then you will get a little bit older quick, your short-term memory goes faster, so forth and so on.
Do you have any recommendations for people trying to wean themselves off coffee?
Right, so if you're trying to wean off coffee and move to juicing, healthy protein supplements, herbal teas, and things that will give you a fuller body energy, then first of all, you have to know there will be a little bit of a rebound effect. You could go through a week or two of some headaches, caffeine withdrawals. But if you're juicing and doing herbal teas, it will lessen the intensity and lessen the longevity of that, because your body will be detoxing at a faster rate, and you'll be supplementing your liver and the organs that have become dependent on the caffeine to function. So the other thing is some constipation. But again, if you're juicing, the beets, carrots, ginger, apple, those will help the constipation. That generally will keep you regular. Beets alone will keep you regular if you do it on a consistent basis. So the idea behind that is a choice. Now, do you have to do no coffee or caffeine? I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm just saying there can be a balance. So the balance may be less coffee and caffeine, depleting your adrenals, and more of this, and then once in a while you cherish that cup, good quality. Instead of more, you do less, but quality. So when you sit down to that cup of coffee or espresso or whatever it is, you splurge and you get the best, and you really, really enjoy it, right? Green tea, again, there's uses for it. It's an herb. Coffee is an herb. They're all herbs, but you have to understand, it's about balance. So even the decaf will still irritate kidneys, irritate the adrenal. So while it won't deplete you as much, it's an herb, right? All of these things have purposes and not supposed to be a generalized everyday situation. That's where we go wrong as a nation, as a country, as a people, is we think everything is, one day they say everything's good for you, then you do it every day. And then they come out and say, it's bad for you. Margarine today, butter tomorrow, milk. And, you can't, everything has a purpose. There's actually a passage in the Bible. There's a reason and a season for everything. You just have to be sensible, right? And that's what we're looking for. And my book is Health and Balance, like I told you. And right now, I don't know if any of you go online, but Amazon, you can go on and look at Health and Balance in spring edition, Dr. Ken, and you'll see, and you can download that book for $9.99. It's going to give you a lot of what we're talking about here, some recipes. No, right now, that's online. I know. That's online. That's a digital book you can download. And it's $9.99, and you can have it in your Kindle or what have you, or, whatever your, if you do any computer. I don't know, some people do it, some people don't, but that's how it's available right now. Health in Balance, Dr. Ken Gray, spring edition. And you can see seasonally what's appropriate for the spring and how to heal your body. A lot of these questions and reminders will be there.
It's gonna be a picture that Crystal gives you.
Okay. Are we good? All right. Thank you for today. One more question?
You have an office here in Jupiter?
I'm on Jupiter Lakes and Military Trail, just down from the hospital. Yeah. Yep. And also, if you like, I don't know if you listen to the radio much, but on Fridays at 7 p.m., I only have a few of these cards. Okay. So 7 p.m. on NPR, National Public Radio. You can hear my show, Maximum Health, Quality Living, with me. And I'll give some of these out as reminders. Yeah? Okay, all right.
Is it nationwide, or is it just local? I have a son in Virginia.
So he would be able to get it if he goes online, because I don't know what the syndication would be there. But I would say online for sure, wqcs.org. And what's nice about that show is it's a different guest every week. And it's different forms of health, and it's really educational. So if you have the time, I would, listen on 7 p.m. or the podcasts, if you do computers, are available via Public Radio Exchange, prx.org, prx.org, yes.
I got a question. The doctor said grits turn into sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know, when you eat grits, do it turn into sugar just like that or what?
Yeah, I just said it's lower on the, but it's lower on the glycemic index because it's a good resource for protein. So when you have a blending of protein and sugars, it's going to be better for you than just pure sugar, right? So I think grits, I believe, is a higher protein level than, say, what we were talking about, like some of the processed white rice. That just kind of goes into sugar. Whereas grits is heartier, it's a denser, you know, it's a grain and protein, and it's corn-based. So there's going to be more nutrients, therefore it's a little bit better for you.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is, and you know, when we look at sugars, you have to understand with plants, it takes sun and there's photosynthesis and it turns that into energy and you know, sugar is just another form of energy. It's just how much versus the other nutrients, right? So we don't want to think sugar is bad necessarily. It's just got to be the type of sugars, right? Processed white sugar is bad because there's nothing else with it. Whereas sugar from sugar cane has all those nutrients. You chew in sugar cane, that's better for you. Still not good if you're diabetic, you know, to go chew on a sugar cane all the time, but better than if you were to take a spoonful of the equivalent of white sugar. You see what I'm saying? So everything has a purpose, and that's what we're really looking at. Yeah, how do we balance it out? So I would say grits may be good, but it shouldn't spike you that much that you worry about it. Right. Right. Yes. Well, again, like if it's straight from sugar cane, they call it turbinado, has all the nutrients still with it. It's going to be better for you than, say, white sugar. But if you have a concern with diabetes, I would say definitely agave, because it's very low on the glycemic index. You know, and if you can do a little bit of sweetener, I would say honey, because honey has a lot of benefits to it. Right? You can do a little honey.
Thank you. All the advice you have given us,
Yeah.
all of those advice was good. But one thing is very important, that we keep our bodies active.
Yes. Yes.
I had to learn that myself.
Yeah.
I get up at least 5 days a week.
Yeah.
2 days are very important to me, on Sundays and in my Bible study on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And I walk from my house, and I do 2 miles every day.
Yeah.
And I found out with me doing that, it has helped me a lot with the lubrication of my
Yeah.
limbs. And not only that, it keeps me active, because it's being active and walking.
Yeah.
And then there are people passing by you, and some know you and hollering at you, and you. You know?
Yeah.
And it really, it's good mentally
Yes.
and physically.
Can't say enough about movement and exercise. Extremely important. You know, without that, you can do all the juicing you want or what have you, but if you don't move around, you're missing out. Yes.
Because my kids is always telling me, Mom, you always out there in the yard.
That's good.
None of you all won't come out and help me.
That's good. That's
I
good.
go down and I cut my yard, I work that, I keep my hedges and everything. I do that myself.
Good.
So I'm gonna sit around and wait on nobody
That's
to
good
do
advice, and I'd say that is the best for everybody. We all got to do it. Yes.
Okay, I was about to refer to that. 30 minutes a day, because I don't walk in my neighborhood, it's not safe.
Right.
But I heard that 30 minutes a day of cardio is
Yeah.
good for the heart.
Yeah, so the one comment here is 30 minutes a day is a good recommendation for cardio, and that's consistent. So people say, oh, I walk up and down stairs, or I do this every day. That's not cardio. It's got to be raising your heart level to a certain amount above normal resting rate for 30 minutes. So whether it's walking consistently in place, or a treadmill, or a bike. She said her neighborhood's not safe, so maybe you have a little bike, Aerodyne, something like that. 30 minutes. Get a little video, a little DVD, something, 30 minutes. Dedicated. Okay? All right, thank you.